Hi everyone, welcome back. Baldy Chris, and this is my series where I show you each of the 10 floors of the Gungeon, and just got away with having a rare victory against the resourceful rat. Even managed to open 2 of his chests for the first time in history. It would have been very useful in my quest for the finished gun series if I'd achieved that there. But since I'm playing in rainbow mode, don't get the benefit of opening those particular chests, unfortunately. So yeah, as you can see, elevator down to the 4th floor. Let's get in there and have a look at the hollow, which is the regular 4th chamber of Enter the Gungeon. And this can be quite a tricky floor. I'd say there's a good step up in difficulty between the 3rd floor and the 4th floor. Can also take quite a long time loading up, apparently. Let's hope the game hasn't crashed. There we go. Right. Doing very well for armour. Must have picked up a lot at the end of the rat fight, I think. So, what do we want here? Oh, quite tempted by the duct tape. Just to stitch a couple of weapons together and make something crazy. Yari launcher is an obvious candidate for some of it. I'll refrain from doing that for now. If I'd got something like the Vulcan cannon and Yari launcher is an insane combination, but I'll resist. I'll take the strafe gun, but I'm probably going to be relying on the Gunter as my go-to weapon as a floor clearer. Yeah, one of the reasons the 4th floor can be tougher is that you've got icy bits of floor which just you can just slide along. I'm not moving the controller, he's just sliding along there, and that can really make life difficult for you in terms of putting yourself in the right position if you happen to get stuck on a bit of ice. And you'll also be encountering enemies that you haven't seen before. These ones I think were present during the rat fight, but otherwise you tend not to see these prior to the 4th floor. They just send the room dark and swarm at you until such time as you've cleared them all. Fast firing weapons definitely good for those. Ah, stinker. That was a different type of conjurer that's got homing bullets which follow you, and they're hard to avoid, as you just saw. Okay, managed to set myself on fire there. If you do get set on fire, you can just roll until it puts the fire out. It can be quite difficult to realise. I've certainly died to fire a few times in my early days playing this game. With good health, just didn't know how to put the fire out, sort of running around hopelessly looking for water to throw myself into, which would have still taken further damage. But no, just the dodge roll will do that. Okay. Purely to not waste the not waste the ammo drop that was there. I just fired off a load of ammo, so I did still waste it, but it just stops the rat from nicking it. As you can see, you'll get some interesting room shapes can appear on the 4th floor as well. Up until this point, they've generally been fairly regular quadrilaterals, but you can get some very odd looking ones here. These ice blocks can be a nightmare. Oh, that was a cheap hit. They're all cheap hits. If they get me, they're cheap. If they get an enemy, they're great. The ice blocks, yes, they will home in on you where they've got a direct line of sight, and they'll keep doing it. They can squish you against walls and just generally bug you up. Best way to avoid them is they can be killed, but they take a lot of damage and you don't have to kill them, so just staying out of their way is a good plan. So somewhere like one of these alcoves would have been the way to do it. Once all the other enemies in the room are cleared, they will simply melt away. And you can also slide these little ice bombs along to deal with some enemies if you happen to be in the right position to use them. I wasn't. The Spectral Cats are a proper pain in the arse. The first one you will see is just a decoy. It's actually the second one or a harder to see one, that is the one you truly need to focus on killing. Although if you've got a fast enough weapon, deal with them both, because the decoy one fires at you and is best dealt with quickly from the point of view of there being fewer bullets around the place. Now these are stinkers as well. Get the green genies, who on their own don't do any damage, but they will spawn red genies, and the red genies do shoot at you. So the temptation is you'll probably shoot at the red ones since they're the ones shooting back. That's not the correct tactic. Get the green ones dead as soon as you can. Sooner than I managed it. Otherwise you'll take a cheap hit, and nobody wants a cheap hit. Okay, I will probably buy blanks. It's a good plan to do in rainbow mode since there's limited purchases available, and you can use the blanks to sort of carry yourself through a tougher boss fight in the hope of trying to get a flawless victory, if at all possible. But yeah, I certainly picked rainbow mode to make life easier to demonstrate the various floors. This is Flint, who sells stuff on the basis of keys rather than shell casings. But because it's rainbow mode, he doesn't actually have anything to sell, but he usually does have some very good things. So it's a shame to have 5 keys because we're in rainbow mode and not be able to take advantage of his wares, but never mind. Okay, now we've definitely got some nasty enemies here. There's one that froze. Got the genies again. And we also had a guy that can spawn skeletons as well, but it did seem to hit him earlier on by accident rather than design, but glad to see him go. Gun nut we've seen before, and yeah, with cover in the way, they're not terribly threatening. Okay, boulder stopping me from getting a chest yet again. Right, okay, over here we've got Grace, who will ask usually quite a large amount of money to try and find something that will either synergize with your weapons or is likely to generate a synergy. I don't have the 61 credits, so I shall refuse. But I would also refuse in rainbow mode anyway, because it's a chest that opens, and as I'm sure I must have mentioned by now, Bowler won't let you open any chests other than the rainbow chests at the start of the floor, so although she's usually a welcome sight on any given run, not on a rainbow run. Okay, we've got a Grim Reaper in here, and they're potentially quite difficult to deal with because they fire off homing bullets. The best way to deal with those is dodge roll over them, otherwise, because they match your speed pretty much entirely, so running away from them doesn't work. And you can't damage the Grim Reapers, they will simply disappear when all the other enemies in the room have been killed. There we go, we've got skeletons as well. Whoops, took a hit from something else spawning in, these little rat buggers. I was a bit too focused on making sure the skeleton was dead, because they look dead when they collapse down to a skull, but if you leave them alone, that skull will regenerate another skeleton. So you have to kill the skull as well as the skeleton. Very annoying if you haven't seen them before, because they can do a lot of damage for sure. Okay. I wonder why he's left me a note there. I was expecting to get junk or something rather than a note from Bowler, but whatever. Okay, there's the entrance to the boss fight. Didn't feel like we'd been everywhere yet, so we'll try and clear the entire floor out. Okay, that's quite a quick room. Yeah, if you are playing in rainbow mode and notice that a chest is a mimic, I don't think we've seen any chest mimics so far. The best advice is just to leave them alone. There's really nothing to be gained from fighting a mimic in rainbow mode. You don't get anything out of them other than a note saying mimics are gross. Right, what are we going to use in here? I will use the Yari launcher, and I will try to hide behind Gatling Gull as far as possible. Okay, it's the Wallmonger, which is a very good one for hiding behind Gatling Gull, although he's been getting knocked around there. I'll just fire off a blank as well. Between the Yari launcher, the additional fire support of Gatling Gull, blank damage, and being able to use him as a human shield, it does not take long to deal with the Wallmonger. That's probably the easiest enemy to get on the 4th floor, so long as you've got a strong enough weapon. One peculiarity attached to him is that it will advance all the way down the room and gradually leave you running short of space. Obviously, we dispatched him quite quickly there. Should you manage to survive all the way to the bottom of the screen and get squished by the wall, you will still die, however much health you had left. I think I've had it happen to me once or twice, so advice with that, as ever, get him dead as quick as you can. So that basically brings us to the end of the 4th floor. You get, if you have a master round, and we've got a couple, then the cell creep will appear on the floor, which is advantageous in being able to sell things too. Just in general, things like weapons that you've emptied or don't want to use or want to get the cash for. He won't appear if you don't have master rounds, which is annoying if you're looking to try and sell stuff that you'd rather get a cash benefit from and buy something better in its place. But yeah, I'll leave that episode there, and you will see why in the next one, because this is how you access the 4th secret floor in Enter the Gungeon. But that's the end of the 4th floor, the Hollow Chamber floor, the Hollow. So thanks for watching this one, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.